Thank you so much for being with us, Jennifer.
Thank you for having me.
Talk about what inspired you to make a film about homelessness.
Well, I think, so often those experiencing homelessness, we're trying to shine that light, on humanity for those that are experiencing it. And so often, we've been involved personally as producers and found that, they are the voiceless. And really, truly, homelessness can happen to anyone. These are the untold stories that they're not the stories that we think they are.
Jennifer, you say that homelessness could happen to anyone, and you do get that sense even in watching the trailer from the movie, or at least I do. So, people might be well off, like Billy Baldwin's character that we saw in the trailer. Why do you want to highlight the fact that homelessness can touch anyone if the circumstances are bad?
Yes, Bishop. It's really, to shed that light on individuals, to all of us, to have more compassion, more empathy around this situation. The storylines in the movie, as you saw the trailer there, yes, Billy Baldwin is a successful businessman with a couple of bad deals, begins to gamble to try and save his home, his family, and finds himself in this situation. I've heard those stories many a times as it relates to economics. We showcase mental health. We call this a homeless crisis in our country, but it really is a mental health crisis. And there's so many amazing faith-based programs out there that we have found along this journey that really have the solutions. And so showcasing different ways that we can see our youth, foster care, as we see young Lauren in this movie, and Billy, who's escaping from violence from his home. These are so many stories that can happen in our everyday life. And so by bringing a story, a storyline, a movie to light like this, it allows us to lean in and understand that this could happen to any one of us at any given time.
And you mentioned some faith-based programs as well. And maybe if you could talk about your faith and how it influences you in producing this movie as well.
Yeah, I think, faith teaches us that, every person has inherent value, regardless of the circumstances, And so in approaching this film, we really wanted to ensure the authenticity, hope and redemption are brought to life in this. And I think all of us, there's so much advocacy around this that we have journeyed through this. And I think, it's really advocacy is an extension of faith in action. And we hope that people will leave this movie having more action, being involved in their churches and their church ministries around homelessness, these wonderful nonprofit organizations that encompass our communities where we can volunteer. I can promise you, if you spend an hour in a shelter and had conversations with individuals, you would be changed. It certainly would leave a mark on you to understand that, we are all children of God, and we all need to look at each other in the same way. These are our neighbors. I tell people, when you walk down the streets, please just say hello, smile. It can change someone's day.
Jennifer, when I was in college, I volunteered at Pine Street Inn, which is, an amazing homeless shelter in the city of Boston. I don't say that to brag, but it gave me a better sense because I experienced relationships with people who were on the street. So in this movie, do you want people to walk away from the film with a sense of hope, or do you want them to be urgent to act, or all of the above?
I think we need to meet people where they are and not where we think they should be. And so I hope that people leave this movie with a new sense of compassion and empathy around our neighbors. You'll see at the end of the film, actually, our cast come on as their own and have a call to action. And they reach out to the audience, asking them to lean in and to volunteer, to look at people differently, to have those conversations, to really approach this in a way that, like I say, that homelessness can happen to anyone. We know that the Catholic Church teaches us that caring for the homeless is not just an act of charity. As you say, it's a moral responsibility that's really rooted in the gospel. And so, I'm hoping that people can walk away and feel differently, and feel inspired to lean into those that are experiencing homelessness, because they're just like you and I.
And taking that a step further, too, after people see this film, what is the best thing that they can do to help our brothers and sisters who are homeless?
Yeah, our call to action is visit these nonprofits, go in and work in a shelter, volunteer, donate, be involved in your church ministries. And again, it's just looking someone in the eye, saying hello. I remember one time that I asked somebody what their name was on the streets, and they looked at me just so confused. And I said, "I'm sorry, sir. I just wanted to ask what your name was. I wanted to pray for you." And he said, "Gosh, I can't remember the last time somebody asked me my name." And that's just not okay for all of us. We need to do more. We need to do better.
And maybe you could talk about, we saw some of the actors and actresses that are in this. Talk about this cast and putting this together and their commitment in getting the word out about homelessness.
Yes, this was filmed locally in the Sacramento area, and all the cast came here, and they asked actually if they could walk through the homeless encampments. And I think in the beginning they thought maybe it was to get into character, and they would tell you today it was a profound experience. I remember Billy Baldwin walking into the first encampment. He put his arm around everyone. He leaned in and prayed, and he said, "We're about to experience something I don't think any of us have before." And it changed them. And they would tell you that today it's changed them. Billy Baldwin, Ashanti, Beverly D'Angelo, Ty Pennington, Lucas Jade Zuman. I mean, just an incredible group of human beings that today are advocates, of those experiencing homelessness. And I'm so proud, to have done this project with all of them, because they've been amazing.
When the trailer was playing, we all said here in the studio that we would really like to see this. We're looking forward to it. So where can people see the movie? When can they get tickets? Give us the real good information here.
Exactly. So noaddressmovie.com. Also fathomentertainment.com. You can actually get your tickets there now. And we really encourage it. Comes out February 28th. So we're only a couple of weeks away. And what this film does, actually 50% of the net profits go back to organizations addressing homelessness, including churches. So by seeing this movie, you are directly helping those experience homelessness. So yeah, February 28th, nationwide, there will be a theater somewhere in your neighborhood. Noaddressmovie.com and fathomentertainment.com to get your tickets now.
Great.
That's great. Thanks so much, Jennifer. We appreciate you taking time to talk to us about this great movie.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you having us on.